She told me right there in front of everyone. All I did was ask him to rub lotion on my back. If that makes you insecure, then just leave. Then she turned back to the guy, giggled, tossed her hair, and kept chatting like I was invisible. I didn't say a word. That same evening, I booked the earliest flight out and disappeared without telling anyone. By the next morning, my phone was exploding. All I did was ask him to put sunscreen on my back. If you're jealous, just go home. She'd said it loud enough for half the beach to hear. A few people gave that uncomfortable laugh you give when someone's just been publicly gutted. She was beaming at the local tour guide, twirling her sunglasses, acting like her boyfriend wasn't standing 3 feet away holding the exact same bottle. I didn't argue, didn't sigh dramatically, didn't demand respect. I just looked at her for a second, said, "Okay," and walked off. No drama, no pleading, no public showdown. I went straight to the room, packed my things, ordered a ticket for the red-eye, and vanished. She always assumed I was bluffing when I set boundaries. This time I wasn't playing. The next morning my phone lit up like a slot machine. Her name was Myra. We'd been together just shy of 2 years. Myra never entered a space quietly. She wanted every eye on her the moment she arrived. Bold, magnetic, laughing a little too hard, resting her hand on people's arms when she spoke. The kind of woman who stops conversations just by walking past. At first, that fire drew me in. I loved that she wasn't timid or boring. But after a while, I saw the pattern. It wasn't that she liked attention, she was addicted to it. And any time I admitted it bothered me, she'd roll her eyes and say, "You're being paranoid, I'm just outgoing." That was her go-to line, "I'm just outgoing." Whether she was leaning too close to some random guy at the bar or replying to late-night DMs from old friends, it was always just outgoing. I used to let it go. Not because I was blind, but because I refused to police someone in my own relationship. If a person wants to cross a line, no amount of guarding stops them. So I observed, I noted, and I waited. What I learned was simple. Myra valued being desired by many more than she valued being respected by one. That was her choice. Until she started doing it right in front of me. When she invited me on this group beach trip, I agreed. Partly for the vacation, partly to see how she'd behave around people who actually knew me as more than Myra's quiet boyfriend. I wasn't looking for a fight. I was looking for the truth. Her friends were exactly what I expected, loud, always filming, thirsty for likes. Myra thrived in that environment, soaking up every glance like it was sunlight. I stayed quiet. I've never been the guy who shouts to be heard in a crowd. Day one was tolerable. Swimming, cocktails, music. She teased me a few times in that flirty butt-cutting way she had, but nothing I hadn't handled before. I kept my cool. There's no point correcting tone when the disrespect is deliberate. Day two was different. New bikini, fresh tan, speaker blasting. She wasn't relaxing, she was on stage. Every stranger's stare was another round of applause. And then came the tour guide, tanned, friendly, just doing his job. Let's call him Leo. Myra turned it into a performance, touching his shoulder when she laughed, asking about his tattoos, playfully asking him to lotion her back even though I was literally holding the bottle. She never even glanced at me. That was Myra. She didn't want a boyfriend in those moments, she wanted a reaction. She wanted to light the fuse and watch me burn so she could feel powerful. When she finally turned and saw me watching, she smirked. "What? Don't tell me you're jealous again." Then, louder for the peanut gallery, "Relax, babe, I just asked him to put sunscreen on my back. If you can't handle it, go home." That wasn't about sunscreen, that was a public power move. A dare to see if I'd grovel or explode so she could play the victim either way. The music seemed to fade. The waves went quiet. Everyone on that section of sand was waiting for my next move, waiting for the insecure boyfriend show to start. She stood there, sunglasses pushed down, grinning like she'd already won. I didn't give her the satisfaction. I just said very calmly, "All right," and that single word knocked the smile off her face for half a second. She recovered fast, laughing too loud. "Oh my God, he's so sensitive, guys," forced chuckles from her friends. The kind that die in your throat. I folded my towel, picked up my book, and walked away. She kept calling after me, "Are you actually leaving? Don't be ridiculous, come back." But I never turned around. Once someone humiliates you publicly, looking back just invites round two. In the hotel room, the air conditioning felt like ice after the burning sun, but inside I was perfectly still. That eerie calm you get when you finally accept something is over. I showered, packed with deliberate slowness, rolling each shirt, coiling every cable like I was gathering pieces of myself I'd left scattered in that relationship for months. By the time the suitcase clicked shut, the beach party sounded a million miles away. She sent one text, You're seriously acting like a baby over a joke? I didn't reply. Another. If you leave over this, we're done for good. I almost smiled. That made the decision easier. At the front desk, I handed over my key and paid my half of the room. The clerk asked, "Will the other guest be checking out soon too?" I said, "No, she's staying a bit longer." He nodded like he understood more than he let on. Outside, the tropical air smelled of salt and coconut oil. I got in the shuttle, watched the resort shrink in the rear window, and felt nothing but relief. No anger, no regret, just space. On the way to the airport, I scrolled through old photos of us, grinning on hikes, kissing at concerts, and they all looked staged now. Not because she was faking happiness, but because I had been faking peace. She didn't want a partner. She wanted a live studio audience. I was tired of clapping on cue. At the airport, I bought an overpriced coffee, booked the next flight home, and when the gate agent asked if I wanted cancellation protection, I said, "No thanks. I'm not coming back." I boarded without looking over my shoulder. When the plane touched down the next morning and I switched my phone on, the notifications flooded in instantly. Missed calls, long paragraphs, voice notes, all from her. First, they were indignant. "You actually left me here? Everyone's asking where you are. This is so embarrassing." Then practical. "They're making me pay your half of the room and my card keeps declining. Can you just send the money so I can leave?" I stared at that one for a few seconds, then locked the screen. Some debts can't be paid with money. By lunchtime, her friends started texting too. One guy I barely knew wrote, "Hey bro, just so you know, she's losing it at reception. Cards maxed. She's crying." "Thought you should know," I replied with 2 words. "She'll figure it out." 30 minutes later, someone sent a screenshot of the group chat, Myra yelling at the manager, still trying to act like the main character even while drowning. Then Chloe, one of the quieter girls in the group, sent a single message. "You literally told him to go home if he was jealous, so he went." Radio silence after that. By nightfall, Myra's tone had flipped from furious to pleading. "I'm sorry, okay? Can we just talk? You made me look stupid in front of everyone." And then again, "Please just transfer the money. The hotel won't let me leave." I read them all, watched the mask slip in real time from queen to beggar in under 24 hours. It wasn't about the money, it was about control, and she'd lost it. That night another friend wrote, "She's asking everyone for cash. No one's giving her anything. She really thought you'd pay from home." "It's bad, man." I sent my last message ever to that group. "She told me to go home. I did." The next morning he texted again. "Her mom ended up wiring the money. Whole lobby watched." "Awkward as hell." Added a crying laughing emoji. I didn't respond. Later that day she posted an Instagram story, sunset, sad filter caption, "When you love someone with trust issues, they'll always find a way to abandon you." The comments tore her apart. Even her own friends. "Girl, you humiliated him in front of everyone. He didn't abandon you. You dared him to leave." She deleted it in 8 minutes, but the screenshots lived forever. For the first time in years, I didn't feel the need to explain myself. The truth had spoken louder than I ever could. A week later, she called from a new number. I let it ring twice, then answered. Silence on the line for a few seconds, then a small, shaken voice. "You actually left me stranded. I had to call my mom for money. Do you know how humiliating that felt?" I said nothing. "You didn't even check if I got home safe. After almost 2 years, that's how little I mean to you." I finally spoke, calm and clear. "Myra, this isn't about one comment. This is about every time you treated my dignity like a punchline. That day on the beach was just the final one." She tried to interrupt. "It was a joke." "It wasn't," I said. "And even if it was, jokes still reveal what someone thinks of you." More silence, then almost a whisper. "You didn't even fight for us." That almost made me laugh. "You told me to go home." I finally listened. She hung up without another word. That was the last time we ever spoke. I never blocked her, there was no need. She stopped trying. A few weeks later, I met someone new. Her name's Claire. Soft voice, steady eye contact, zero interest in performing for strangers. We talk about books, work, the quiet kind of travel where you actually rest. When she laughs, it's because something is genuinely funny, not because she's testing how many heads turn. It feels easy, almost suspiciously easy after years of chaos. But I've learned that peace isn't the absence of passion, it's the presence of respect. Sometimes calm feels boring only because you're used to storms. A month later, the same friend texted one final update. "Myra's telling people she's grown from the experience now." I replied, "Wish her the best," and muted the thread. I don't hate her. I don't even wish her pain. I'm just grateful I left before I forgot what self-respect felt like. Some people only learn the value of something when the bill finally comes, emotional or literal. So yeah, I went home that day. And for the first time in years, home actually felt like peace. So tell me, if you'd been standing there with that bottle of sunscreen in your hand while she laughed in your face, what would you have done? Would you have stayed and fought, or walked away without a word like I did? Thanks for letting me get this out. Sometimes the most painful stories aren't the loud ones. They're the ones where you don't scream, you don't cry, you just close the door and never look back.